Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to Curtain Jerkin. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Grondy, reporting for the Main Event Mark's YouTube channel. Check me out on Spotify as well. I appreciate you listening to me however you're listening to me. And we got to jump right into it. Probably the biggest news ever, maybe, in the world of pro wrestling and MMA, WWE and UFC merging to create TKO. I don't think this will affect the companies too much as what we see on TV, as the product we watch as consumers, as fans of both products. But they're merged as a company. They're with some big conglomerate that somehow involves pro bull riding, and it seems big. Seems like a big deal. I can see it affecting us and how in the sponsorships. I think everyone always talks about the key demo a lot, especially if for AEW fans. This key demo, like 18 to it's like 40-year-old males or something like that. And products used to have to decide, well, how are we going to promote to 18 to 40-year-old males if we can't get onto NFL, more or less. That's how it is. If you can't get on the NFL, how are we going to promote to these younger adult males? And the answer was either WWE or UFC, where now it looks like you don't have to decide that. It's like, should we go NFL or should we go this conglomerate of WWE UFC, which I think that means that they're going to get better sponsorships, which means more money. And I think to get better sponsorships, you're going to have to give them a little bit sweeter of a deal. So much like what we saw at WrestleMania this year. I think we also saw it at Payback during Rey Mysterio's match. They're going to just show it like just full-blown advertisements during the matches. Or if you watch like AAA, you're not a stranger to seeing something like that. During every big match, there's a giant billboard flashing advertisements. If you watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, the ring has advertisements on the ring. So it's really nothing new to the world of pro wrestling, but kind of new to the WWE fan. And even at that, not that new to the WWE fan, because we've been seeing it ever since Nick Khan has taken over. And we saw it showcased at WrestleMania even last year. During, I think, the Nakamura-Rick Boogs match, I think they were promoting like a Mike's Hard Lemonade flavor or something like that. See, I remember the advertisement from over a year ago, so it obviously works. There's some cereal that I think Rey Mysterio is partnering with. I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch, if I'm not mistaken. See, I'm remembering these advertisements. Do I remember what they advertised during commercials on wrestling programs? No, not even during the picture-in-the-picture breaks do I remember this stuff, unless you're like Domino's and Nick Gage or something like that. But I think now that companies do not have to say, will we go UFC or will we go WWE, I think that they can probably compete against NFL. They probably leave NBA, MLB, hockey in the dust. So this is big. They're gonna make a lot of money with this. I also see like big weekends, like them piggybacking off of each other. Like they have WrestleMania week, have a small UFC card at WrestleMania week. Why not, right? Why not have like a fight card that isn't going to make much money, instead of having it on a Saturday, have it on like a Wednesday at the same or a Thursday, so you can go like small UFC card, SmackDown, WrestleMania RAW, something like that. Or like a big UFC show, have SmackDown before it. Have Friday night SmackDown, then UFC on Saturday night in cities like Cleveland, like a little smaller than Detroit that hosted SummerSlam, or a little smaller than Philadelphia. You can do a small little weekend thing like that. So I think them coming together is going to help the companies as a whole. Of course, they're going to like do some cuts here because they are merging together. So there's going to be a lot of behind-the-scenes cuts, which is sad. it's a bummer. I wonder what's going to happen like that. There's going to be a lot of talented people probably looking for a job, might help out AEW, MLW, Impact, or maybe just Bellator. Who knows? But yeah, that's probably. I think I'm definitely underselling this to an extent. I think this is the biggest news probably ever in wrestling. Like, Vince McMahon is not the head of WWE anymore. We thought that he stepped down earlier last year, but he is truly, like, on paper, not the biggest guy in WWE. He's not the majority stockholder. He's like 49%. So someone can tell Vince McMahon no for the first time, I think, since he took over the company in the early 80s. So for like 40-some years, you really couldn't tell him no. You had to kind of make him think that your idea was his idea, so then he could be right along with you, and that you could probably just get the idea done for the greater good. Where now you can say, you know what, Vince, or someone can go around Vince and maybe get some ideas across. There's a new chess board and a few new chess pieces added to this understanding of how ideas get across in the WWE. I do like, though, that on the New York Stock Exchange, they're all standing up there, all the big wigs, all the, I forget all their names, the UFC guys, and you got Nick Khan and Vince McMahon there, and then Vince McMahon does the Hogan thing, puts his hand to his ear, tries to hype up the crowd, definitely doing like, you can take the man from the wrestling world and put him on the New York Stock Exchange, but you cannot take the pro wrestling out of the man. Even on a day like today, or a day like Monday. What a mark. That's our boy up there. I love it. Logan Paul versus Dillon Danis, going into the world of sports entertainment, leaving the world of wrestling and MMA. We're talking about Logan Paul and Dillon Danis face to face. The video came out. This was kind of obnoxious. The fight build might have peaked last month, or like a month and a half ago, with the press conference there, which is like 2 months away from the fight happening. We're still a month out from the fight. Something needs to happen to kind of keep my interest, though. I really think that this fight build, which was amusing, is kind of not tanking, but kind of slowly depleting. No one's talking about KSI versus the younger Fury. Everyone's talking about this, secondary card, the secondary main event. And even that is depleting a little bit. One thing I do like, just like, kind of how Vince revealed himself to be a pro wrestling fan, so did Dillon Danis here, mentioning that Triple H told me that he wouldn't make it in the Attitude Era. That's what he kind of whispered to the host of this little face-to-face thing. And yeah, of course, he's saying that to insult Logan Paul. We all know he's a good wrestler. He probably would have made it in the Attitude Era or whatever. But even to bring that up shows that he's a wrestling fan. So in many ways, this boxing fight is a fight that's been building for a long time. We have the long-time pro wrestling fan versus the hated WWE part-timer. This has been building for decades. The dirt sheets have been filled with people hating part-timers. You have mid-carders hating part-timers, and here he is, this mid-carder in UFC, this known pro wrestling mark, gets to fight a part-timer in Logan Paul. Of course, Dillon Danis has been, kind of tweeting out lots of pictures of Logan's fiance, and now Logan's fiance is suing Dillon Danis, and he's kind of deleting some photos and not really posting too many photos like that anymore. So, like, the thing that's been getting the most heat for this match a month out is kind of dwindling away as well. So, I mean, I'm still interested, don't get me wrong, but has the internet's interest peaked in this fight? I guess we will see come October 14th. I mean, I'm tuning in. I'll be talking about it here on Curtain Jerkin, but that's the world of sports entertainment. That's the world of pro wrestling and MMA business. But let's just dive into these reviews so I can give my opinions and thoughts on what happened with WWE, what happened with AEW, because that's kind of my bread and butter here on the show. Of course, I like to talk about a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but we got to talk about what happened on the bodies of the programs that we all know and love. Judgment Day talking shit to the Bloodline on SmackDown, jumping over to Raw. Kevin Owens and Jey Uso bickering in the ring, and the Judgment Day interrupt, trying to recruit the former Bloodline member. Jey super kicks Dom, clears house despite the numbers game working against him, and then you have Kevin Owens and Jey Uso forming a team against Judgment Day. And we have our curtain jerker for Raw that evening. Raw is kind of Judgment Day's show. Priest was kind of sinking after the Bad Bunny Mania. I think, what was it, 37? Finn and Rhea were kind of not doing too much. And Dom, I mean, no one was really enjoying Dom's work until they all joined the Judgment Day and became heels, and I think lifted each other up. And then now I feel like they're kind of lifting up all of Raw with them. Raw was not really as good 6 months ago to a year ago until the writing staff really started sinking their teeth into this Judgment Day storyline. Jey Uso accidentally super kicks Kevin Owens. Judgment Day steal the victory. Judgment Day want Jey. Cody Rhodes wants to talk about Jey. Cody gets cut off mid-promo by Dom. Cody just clocks him. JD tries to come to the aid of Dom to no avail. Cody whips both their asses. Cody's in a suit, whooping ass. That's how we want our Cody. That's how we like our Cody. Then the most newsworthy event on WWE this week takes place. We had Cena's return last week, and during Rhea trying to carry Raquel through a good match, we had Nia Jax show up. WWE doesn't care how many times Nia's injured Kairi Sane. She is still The Rock's cousin, and we will bring her back, hopefully, to bring back The Rock. I mean, come on here. Let's call the spade a spade here. I mean, this is the best chance you could bring back The Rock. You have the writer's strike, so they're not making any movies. That's probably how we got Cena back. Now let's try for The Rock. How can we get The Rock back? We're going to bring back Nia Jax. I feel like the merger and fresh ideas coming into play, fresh idea makers maybe on top. This is. I feel like this has to be linked somehow. This means hell for the women's division, especially the aforementioned Kairi Sane, who's rumored to leave Stardom and come back real soon. Rhea gets the win and then attacks the champion. Rhea gets the win here, and then Nia Jax attacks the champion. All the rumors about cuts being made because of this UFC merger, and then here we go, bringing back Nia Jax. Not a big fan of this as far as the body of the show, but if this means we're getting The Rock, then feed Kairi Sane to the slaughter. Let's get The Rock back here. We want to see The Rock and Roman in Philadelphia. Do we not? Do we not, guys? Also, from what I understand, Riddle might be one of the first cuts. I don't really know too much about it, but I mean, something happened at the JFK airport that seems a little weird. Not a fan of all that going down. I hope he's okay. I am a fan of Akira Tozawa taking on The Miz. Not one, not two, but 3 skull-crushing finales. Gets Miz the victory. LA Knight on SmackDown had a killer promo attacking The Miz, going against The Miz. Great promo as usual. Drew McIntyre versus Woods. Woods actually gets a powerbomb, but doesn't get the win on Drew. Drew wins with a Claymore. We had a women's tag match, Imperium versus Alpha Academy. It was a good Raw, if you ask me, but it was the second lowest rating in Raw history. Which is crazy to talk about. I guess everyone was watching Aaron Rodgers run out there with the American flag and then get hurt in the early going, but not making the triumphant return to the roaring hometown crowd. I mean, who books NFL. They had the whole thing going out great. He goes out, he gets injured. You got to bring him back in the fourth quarter to make the comeback here. I mean, come on. It writes itself there, guys. Nakamura still pissed at Rollins. He wants a title. He keeps bringing up old shit about how Rollins turned his back on the Shield. People, change, Nakamura. Come on. Seth ain't running, though. He's out there ridiculously dressed as always, not backing down, calls him out. Music hits, crowd starts singing, but Nakamura's too busy whooping Ricochet's ass in the back. And I'm glad the storyline is moving on. I think this is, great wrestling at the end of the day, but I do feel like this world title, even though it's very new, is taking a back seat to the Judgment Day storyline. And I think the Judgment storyline is getting built up so well because they're going to have it correlate into the Bloodline storyline. And the Bloodline storyline is bigger than this new world title. It just is. So there you go. So great week for Nia Jax. Great week for Vince McMahon making a bunch of money. Not a good week for CM Punk. This was not a good look for him because now we get to see what the AEW program looks like without him, and it really doesn't look that different. AEW, as far as the body of the shows, really didn't feel different. It didn't feel like we lost a top star. Then the news comes out about how he was, trying to jump to WWE earlier this year. That really doesn't look too good for him. And then when people are like, well, when I say he lunged at Tony Khan, I really meant he fucking really got out. Tony Khan was being very nice about it. So, like, he attacked his boss and, letting that kind of sink in that, like, I don't know, you attacked a Tony Khan, like a guy like Tony Khan. It's like, some people are lovers, not fighters, and I think Tony Khan loves cocaine and pro wrestling. You don't want to attack a man like that. And, just all this stuff, all this news really doesn't make CM Punk look like the best guy. But moving on to AEW as a whole, we had Collision, we had Dynamite. We're ranking all those matches from both shows from worst to first. But before we get into the matches, let's talk about the stuff that happened, in between the matches, the promos and whatnot. Love starting out Dynamite with Orange Cassidy, not in a match, but a promo. They made some stars at All Out, and I liked how they kept the momentum of one of them here. Then you see the pain in his face when Moxley's music hits. I felt for our boy there. Christian Cage confronts Nick Wayne just to shit on his dad and hit on his mom. What a dick. Roderick Strong here with the sit down. Very funny, but also informative. Great segment here, catching people up on maybe why Roderick Strong is so hurt by Adam Cole, while not bringing up Undisputed Era and NXT and everything. Don Callis and Takeshita, this duo is money. Speaking of money, MJF and Joe out there in the same segment. This is something to bring up here in MJF's title run. Bring it back to the forefront. Kind of let the joking segments with him and Adam Cole being the ROH Tag Champions kind of put that in the back burner for a while. Let Adam Cole and Roderick Strong kind of heat up while you have MJF versus Samoa Joe here. Much like the CM Punk feud with MJF, I feel like this was the first time we really saw Joe get outshined on the mic. MJF is on a different level, and you really see it here in his promos when he goes toe-to-toe with these legends. Kind of watching these guys who I think are some of the best mic guys in the last 20 years kind of be a step behind him in these promo battles really shows you how good MJF is on the mic. And I think Joe knew it too. I think Joe knew he got worked a little bit here because when he comes back out at the end, that seemed a little impromptu. He didn't really know what he was saying, and then he just knew he ended it with bitch. That's kind of like, anyone could kind of just say bitch and then get a little bit of a pop. So he kind of went for an easy grab there because I think he knew he got worked. He did attack MJF, but I guess that wasn't enough. Injuring the neck, keeping that story arc going. Roderick Strong comes out not happy that Adam Cole is taking care of and tending to MJF's injured neck. Tony Storm is kind of reaching a new level as well, I feel like, on the mic, just in this crazy vibe. And I really like how she's sinking her teeth into this new character, and it's building tension with the Outcasts. I feel like they really dropped the ball, not having a Jamie Hayter Britt Baker feud when they were teaming. So now that Saraya has the title, a lot of people kind of saw that as really boring, but I really do think if you can kind of do a angle here where the Outcasts kind of split up and crazy Tony Storm is there, and then you don't really know where Ruby is thinking either, or Ruby could maybe be Saraya's muscle in all of this, I think that's better than having the Outcasts still team up here. Hangman and Swerve feud, this is pretty good. This is something that I want to see here, but not as much as I want to see the Prince Nana dance get big on TikTok. Let's get that thing viral. I'm doing it right now. I know this is an audio-only show, but I promise you I'm killing the dance right now as I'm recording this show. And then Collision. I love the promos off the top, but other than that, this Collision kind of felt like a little bit similar to Dynamite. A lot of quick matches at the beginning, then some talking segments in the second hour going into the main event. That kind of is the structure of Dynamite a little bit. And they say that Punk had creative influence on Collision. So, maybe with him gone, we're going to see the same people that write Dynamite write this show, and it could feel the same, which I don't think is, I like the different feel of the shows. And then also, if you notice, a lot of the same wrestlers were on both shows, which I enjoyed it being a little different. I lost my place with where I was going. I'm lost here, kind of like Tony Storm is lost here, going crazy. Ruby and Saraya don't know what to make of her in their backstage promo. CJ Perry here with a video package. I couldn't really make heads or tails of what she was talking about here. It seems like she was trying to get some of that Miro magic in this promo, but it just felt like a reality show confessional or something. Dark Order, funny video package, like an infomercial about joining a cult here, which, I guess that's kind of how cults start. They bring you in all nice, like before they, become evil. So I thought that was kind of a funny take on how they to do their gimmick. The Acclaimed running down the dates that they will be in your city. All this talk about how tickets aren't moving too much. The Acclaimed is a big draw, so I see why they did this here. But it was a skippable segment. FTR promo was good. Hobbs promo was good. Keith Lee promo out of nowhere. I feel like I haven't seen this guy in a long, long time. Sick Bray shout out there at the end. The Righteous video package. Both teams are good, but I really do feel like I know you did the feud in Ring of Honor, but I do think that you should, don't start highlighting the Dark Order and the Righteous at the same time. I feel like they're too similar. Where they kind of play against each other. Lots of ROH stars, staples, kind of coming more prominent onto AEW, it seems. Bryan Danielson comes out, challenges Zack Sabre Jr. for Wrestle Dream. That's a dream match right there. Ricky Starks interrupts, and just as Bryan is about to give him his props and bring him onto Blackpool Combat Club with the shirt, Big Bill attacks. Ricky Starks joins in on the attack. Moxley comes for the save, but to no avail. Big Bill stands tall on both of them with Pretty Ricky. You gotta love this shit. With all these guys wrestling on Dynamite and then wrestling on Collision, you gotta give Pretty Ricky his flowers. I don't want to just see a promo on one show and then a promo on the other show. Give him some matches. He can go in the ring. Apparently, he gives a shout out to CM Punk. Says thank you, Punk. And Punk really did highlight him more than any other star. The ever controversial CM Punk definitely had people that enjoyed his company. And I think Powerhouse Hobbs is one of those people. I think definitely FTR and probably Pretty Ricky. But reported that there was heat with this tweet. Just saying thank you, Punk got heat. And now he claims that he was hacked. He has to send a claim out there saying, hey man, I was hacked. I feel like Ricky Starks can't win for losing. He's boys with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes goes to the other company. He sneaks in to watch him wrestle and gets caught on the camera, on the security camera that gets leaked. So then he gets heat for that at AEW, and then here he is. He gets into this Punk program. We don't get to see the end of this Punk program. We get a sick match or show-stealing performance with him and Danielson, but then he says thank you to the guy who helped him get that platform, and then he gets heat again. This guy can't win for losing. I feel for him. But let's break down every single match from worst to first. Number 11, Statlander versus Robin Renegade. Statlander makes short work of this twin and gets attacked by both twins, only to get saved by Jade, who then attacks her. Jade making the return. Former TBS champion. She's a powerhouse. She's strong as fuck. Versus the current TBS champion, who is also strong as fuck. That's kind of cool. I mean, in a week where everyone's talking about the powerhouse Nia Jax coming back to WWE program, here we have two powerhouses who I think are both better wrestlers than Nia Jax. That's right. I think Jade Cargill, you heard it here first, better wrestler than Nia Jax, and it was cool to see her come out on Collision return, because I do feel like she's a star. I would say she's a more star power than Nia Jax as well. Number 10, Juice and the Guns versus Aerostar, Gravity, and Drago. If you're going to bring out the Lucha Stars, if you're going to bring out the Lucha Underground talent, I want to see some flippy shit. I feel like we got... I was disappointed here. Juice drops Drago, 1, 2, 3. Speaking of underutilized Lucha Underground talent, Phoenix versus Angelico. Phoenix returns and beats Angelico at the number 9 spot. Number 8, Mox versus Fox. I was disappointed in this match, mostly because I don't understand why Darby just is forgiving AR Fox here. The dude, he comes out with AR Fox in his entrance here, but, Fox hits a 450, 1-2, Moxley kicks out, Death Rider 1, 2, 3, but Darby cheering on Fox, who is attacking your little brother-like figure in his own home, just to fuck with you in the first place. There's certain stuff that just, you can't come back from. This match kind of, I don't know. It just feels weird. And then you got the Darby Allin, Nick Wayne main event on Dynamite, which is the number 7 spot. Darby kills himself right away, just diving into the guardrail. Darby then grabs the mic and says Nick Wayne isn't hitting him hard enough. This match just goes off the rails here with Christian Cage coming out, Wayne hitting a shitty frog splash. Darby wins via this wild submission. That was kind of the reason I ranked it so high. And then you have Moxley versus Action Andretti. Not a good match, not a bad match. Mox shows up on Collision now that Punk is gone, so there's that. And Mox chokes out Andretti after Action got a lot of offense in on him. Number 5 out of 11, Statlander versus Emi Sakura. Emi Sakura going off here. I thought she was really good. That's why this match was top 5, is because Emmy killed it, but she got caught with a discus lariat and a pile driver. 1, 2, 3. Statlander gets the victory on Dynamite. Roderick Strong and Trent Beretta. Strong is the MVP this week. Every segment he was in, he either was cracking me up or impressing me in ring. And Trent Beretta rarely has a bad singles match, but gets hit with the end of Heartache 1, 2, 3 and loses to Roderick Strong in the tournament. Number 3, the main event of Collision. You want to talk about big fight feel? Here you go. A bit of a 2018 dream match here. Samoa Joe versus Pentagon, brawling on the outside. Back in the ring, Joe's in control. Joe drops him. Super kick 1, 2. Joe kicks out. Penta goes for a dive, and Joe moves out of the way. Pentagon comes crashing through a table. Sabu, eat your heart out. Joe chokes him out and gets the victory. Number 2, La Sex Guys versus Aussie Open. Callis on commentary, cutting the ring in half on Davis. Fletcher gets a tag, but they still cut the ring in half here. Sex Gods stay in control. Fletcher catches Jericho with an elbow. Code breaker 1, 2. Sammy hits a Spanish or Fosbury flop rather to the outside. Jericho does an old man dive, accidentally falling on Sammy. And I do mean falling. It really wasn't some dives go out, some dives go down. Jericho went down. Spanish Fly by Sammy, Judas Effect 1, 2, 3. And despite getting the victory, Sammy and Jericho are at odds with one another. They're in a collision course. They're feuding. I saw some graphic where it looks like they're fighting. I don't know if it's Grand Slam or Wrestle Dream or what, but there's a lot of shows happening, and one of them is going to feature Sammy versus Jericho, which is a storyline that has been happening since the very first Dynamite. And there's over 200 episodes of Dynamite 4 years later. Strong versus Darby, match of the week. Christian attacking Wayne backstage, brawling outside. Darby goes for that weird submission again, which was kind of interesting. They battle up top. Roderick Strong just drops Darby Allin on the turnbuckle. Darby flipping and flopping on his way down to the floor, hitting the apron as he goes. Clip of the week as far as wrestling Twitter, in my opinion. And then into Heartache again, 1, 2, 3. This leading to Joe versus Strong. I think it won. I can't. I just know the graphic. I don't know which show. I think it's Grand Slam. Too many shows. I'm still blending all in and all out together. And I enjoyed there not being a big wrestling show this weekend, so I could just take a big deep breath and watch a little football or something. As big of a wrestling fan as I am, sometimes you gotta watch a little football. My fantasy team won this week, so I was pretty stoked on that. I do love wrestling though, and I appreciate you guys listening to this show. Fly high. I'm out.